W. Ethan Weatherbee, owner of the Hopetown Larks baseball organization. Through his eyes, we will examine the components of America's national pastime that the fans' eyes will rarely see or ever care to see.
$290, Ethan. $290 under some of the toughest conditions.
33 pages.
110 RBIs.
I had no idea you and that agent of yours were so creative.
52 homers.
These 4 points you've delineated are especially interesting. Point 1. For the next 9 years, Mr. Richard Cerpenti is requesting to be paid the sum of $90 million. An astronomical sum by anyone's standards, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'm not anyone.
Point 2, you want an escape clause in your contract stipulating that you may leave the Larks at any time prior to your contract termination at full salary and benefits.
I need more than just my uniform to cover my ass.
Point 3, for all personal team endorsements and promotions, you want a base fee of $2 million, excluding residual rights and royalties.
You get what you pay for, don't you?
And yet you want 50% of all revenue for the endorsements in which you don't appear.
Look, Ethan, you got a pennant hanging out there 2nd year in a row. And you know damn well who put it there. I don't think the guys are going to argue.
Other sports luminaries, when they do endorsements, part of that promotion money goes to their organizations, benefiting not only themselves, but the teams for which they play. You may have forgotten somewhere along the way that this is a team effort.
Don't stroke me with that team effort. It's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game crap. Losers don't put bodies in the seats, Ethan. It's about winning. And to win, you need the best. And the best just happens to cost. And I hope that's something you haven't forgotten along the way.
Point 4. If Mr. Cerpenti is to bat an average of 300 or above, he is to receive a bonus of $1 million tax-free.
Hey, man, a guy could go blind looking at the zeros in your ledger book. You can afford to eat the tax. Don't get pissed at me, Ethan. Remember, I'm on your side. And how couldn't I be? You're the one who discovered me, right? Believed in me. I haven't let you down, have I? I'm gonna keep on doing for you. But you're gonna have to do for me. Come on, Ethan.
You realize the magnitude of what you're asking?
Ethan.
No. You haven't a clue. The baseball season officially begins on April 1st and ends on September 30th. Excluding postseason, that's 6 months of work, not 12. And while we're on the topic of math, let's do some calculation. Excluding your agent's 10%, you'll be getting $11,700,000 per season. Divide that by 162 games and you're earning $70,000 a game. On average, a game lasts 3 hours. You'll be making $23,000 an hour. Are you worth that? Is any man worth that?
Ethan, chill out a minute, will you? Look at this from where I'm standing. Maybe you'll see where I'm coming from. Now, I'm asking for $10 million a year. I'm already down 39% federal tax, 7% state. That's 46% right off the top. And that's not including my agent's 10. I should be asking for $20 million a season. I'm actually doing you a favor. And what about spring training? February,
That
March.
is a non-issue, so don't give me any of that crap. You and your agent.
It's not just me and my agent, Ethan. It's a lot of people. Look, let's see what Vinny from Canarsie has to say. Rich Cerpenti is worth every penny of his new contract. And I hope the Larks renew that contract so that I, as a fan, can be happy and see them in the World Series. Here's Donna from Ronkonkoma. Rich Cerpenti is worth every penny of his new contract. He's a great-looking guy. He's head of the team. I love him. And I want to see the Larks come back and win a pennant. And all the cashiers in my supermarket are chipping in to buy a season's box just for when that happens.
Well, your fans certainly are typical. But if I'm to accommodate your request, you'll be punishing them by forcing us to raise prices on tickets, concessions, parking, just to name a few. And if we want to keep people coming into the stadium, let's keep in mind that Donna from the supermarket's salary isn't commensurate with those prices. She and her cashiers may be startled to find out the cost of a season's box when they're ready to purchase one.
Hey, man, those letters are just 2 of 1,000. I'm keeping the post office busy.
And what assurances are you giving me that you'll perform at the peak of your abilities at all times? Because if I'm to agree to your $90 million, you're not motivated to do anything. You get paid regardless, which means I might have to float a few points of my own. Say if you're to incur an injury that would put you on the disabled list, your contract to be terminated. That's point 1. Point 2, if your batting average is to fall below, well, let's be fair, say 270. Your contract is open to renegotiation with the provision that we can lower your salary. Point 3, if you're to bring any scorn or public contempt to the Larks by virtue of alcohol, drugs, lewd conduct, criminal behavior, your contract is null and void. It's just what this is, this 33-page rag, this joke that you put before me.
I'm not joking.
Neither am I, especially when I tell you I've got 4 rookies down in Gainesville. You should see their stats in just 6 weeks. With 10% of their energy, they'll be giving the egos in the Major League a run for their money, including yours.
Don't compare me to rookies, Ethan. I'm a star.
Ah, you're a punk I happened to give a break to when I let my defenses down because I believe in talent and want to support it every chance I get, forgetting that half the time it's not worth the effort. I do not agree to the terms of your new contract, and my 2 options to you are play under your current one or sit in a dugout and warm the benches. Watch these rookies coming up. You'll soon realize the true meaning of fan appreciation. They'll forget your name and your face so fast it'll make your head spin. The only mail you'll get will be from your creditors. Maybe then you'll appreciate playing the game.
I am playing the game, Ethan. I'm union. We got a collective bargaining agreement, which means you can't say my contract is null and void. We have to have an arbitrator. I know you don't want to go there. It's not worth it. Look, I got other teams dipping into the rink right now. And if you don't grab me, they will. And you'll be sorry when you have to play against us. Hey, you know there's nobody like me, Ethan. Think it over. You got 24 hours. Do the right thing, Ethan. Love you.
I hear you. Muriel. Don't mind me.
The rich Cerpentis of the world have an interesting effect on people.
I shake my head, Muriel. $90 million like it was nothing. For the year 2000, it's estimated that the family of 5 will spend an average of upwards of $300 to spend a day at the ballpark. And guys like Cerpenti and the unions are directly responsible.
Second only to the people who pay.
And they pay. Sure, Babe Ruth earned 6 digits in the 1930s, and DiMaggio was the first $1 million player in the late 40s.
That was a lot of money in those days.
Consider the cost of living, Muriel. It doesn't come anywhere close to $90 million today, and the fans weren't extorted for it. Things were so different then. There was a certain dignity to those guys, a class. And in a strange way, it didn't matter how much they were being paid because they were happy to be there, earning a living. I remember an 18-year-old who was offered $25 a week to play for the Hagerstown Owls, the Sea League down in Maryland, and he was ecstatic. He didn't bring an attorney with him to batting practice. Ah, to those who really understand baseball, to those who really know, there is no comparison to how it was then. The moment you walked through the gate, there was a different feeling, a different tone. There was an innocence to it all. The organ music, the electricity. Your senses were clearer. The popcorn and hot dogs tasted better, even smelled better then. Maybe it was hope. Hope for tomorrow. Hope for the game that brought every unlikely individual together and made them forget their differences, if only for 2.5 hours, and pulled them into a network of support and pride. Maybe it was love. Today it's just habit, the ritual of it all.
Maybe those who failed to study history will never repeat it.
They don't want to know, Muriel. It's like I'm a relic from another time speaking a foreign language. Change is inevitable, but it's usually the wrong kind.
Maybe some of us are here to make sure it's the right kind.
Maybe the tragedy is they have to fall. And there's just no other way.
Garrett Bry would like to see you. He's waiting outside. I'll bring him in. Garrett?
Mr. Weatherbee.
Well, I'll leave the two of you alone.
Muriel. Thank you. Well, what's the matter, Garrett? No more problems at home, I hope.
No.
How's Anita?
No, nothing like that. You know, the last couple of weeks before the season ended, I was getting these symptoms. I saw Dr. Farrington. She did some tests. She says there's an abnormality in my stomach. A malignancy.
Garrett. Is there a prognosis?
They have to remove what's there. If it's contained, they say I have a good shot at a full recovery. But they won't know until they go in.
I'll line you up with the best. I don't want you to worry about a thing.
I'm gonna do everything to make sure I'm playing again next season.
Of course.
But in case there's a change, the guys are the best, and the team won't suffer.
That's because you did plenty for them.
They've done plenty for me.
Sit down.
What's this?
Joe DiMaggio?
It still blows me away. How in one person's name there could be another person's lifetime. My father always said to me, the true master of the game is Joe DiMaggio. His precision and class. He's everything you've got to strive for. I was on my first day of Little League when I was 5. I can still hear him. Garrett, learn your game from top to bottom. Be the best at what you do, and someday your name will be mentioned to a 5-year-old with a dream as the star he needs to shoot for.
I'm sure you made your father very proud.
He was the wind beneath my swings. But the air thins out when you're sitting in protective custody or doing the 12-step program in South Oaks. I think I took the heart right out of him. Now I get this news. And it's like this isn't happening to me. I'm seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
And what do you see through those eyes?
Oh, things I never saw before or thought about. People have been cheering me on for as long as I can remember. Wanting to be in my company, wanting to be my friend, all because of this talent I have. And when everyone around you is always telling you how great you are, it's hard to think you could be anything less. Because that talent is always going to make sure you look great in everybody's eyes. They'll wear our names right on their backs, but the real us, they never see.
The double play of life.
Well, maybe the whole concept of sports is the double play. A contradiction. Here it is, the earliest tool that teaches men to compete, yet it's the biggest thrill for the guys who never get up off the couch. It's supposed to symbolize our challenges and obstacles, and yet all it teaches is to get out there and win. Maybe we need a little more no glare under our eyes, because we've never learned that what we're shooting for is the impossible. No one is going to win every single time. Every one of us, sooner or later, is going to have to lose. And it's as much a part of the contract as the dotted line we sign on. And in our frenzy to win, what happens? We forget about each other, the people who support us, and the game.
And for that, we lose 1,000 times more than we need to.
You never lose.
You're wrong, Garrett. Very wrong. What if I were to tell you I was a baseball player? A baseball star? A long time ago. And then a horrible disease made its presence known, and the man I thought would live forever was turned into a being I didn't recognize, didn't want to know.
You're W. Ethan Weatherbee, aren't you?
This time. But sleeping. Deep within this granite exterior is the soul of a wonderfully graceful athlete who would give anything just to be able to run again, to be able to swing the bat and see the ball flying right out of the stadium. But that'll never happen, Garrett. Ever again.
Why not?
Because I took for granted what was. You've heard of
It's violet. And it's lavender. It's cool. The air is so cool, but not cold. It's cool inside of me, like it could lift me up and make me fly.
It is there. But before we can enter that special place, there are some things we need to learn here first. The true meaning of loyalty, friendship, true love, and most importantly, getting beyond the material aspects that make up so much of this world. Yes, I'm W. Ethan Weatherbee, owner of the Hopetown Larks. I deal in money matters and contacts every day of this existence, but do you think this is what I would have chosen to do? But it is my reason for being, and there are hundreds of us that have a reason, and mine is to awaken any spark of humanity, the last dreg of goodness in the likes of the many Richard Cerpentis I've had to deal with, to make them realize the wonder that is their lives, and to remind them that everything they have can be taken away from them. Just like that. It's a real Armageddon, Garrett, and I'm afraid we're losing, but in the spirit of true sportsmanship, we'll never stop trying.
So what are you saying about success? Fame, fortune, money?
I suppose it's similar to a test for the spirits in question. Not having learned what they needed the first time around, and some get so caught up they begin to believe they're a little better than everyone else, and they never learn until the next time around, when they're indentured by the same kind of people they were, like the rich Cerpentis of the world.
So you're kind of like a divine coach?
And what is a coach?
Wait a minute. You told me this the first day I signed with the Larks. A coach is the guy that gets you to do what you don't want to do.
So you can be what you want to become.
If I can get a second chance, I swear this will be a lesson learned for me. I'll play the game like I've never played it before.
You've got to take a journey, Garrett. A journey deep within yourself. And this time, really listen to the voices there. They're trying to tell you something. And if you listen carefully, you'll find that you'll be seeing the world through someone else's eyes. And be delighted to find they are yours.
It's impossible!
Actually, Coach, it's not. See, Jimmy had to travel a distance of 90 feet. He reached an average speed of 15 miles per hour. The ball left 2 seconds later than Jimmy and had to go 1.5 times the distance.
If education is important to you, talk to your child's school about raising academic standards. Call 1-800-38-BE-SMART for a free booklet and be a big league
Thus
parent.
enabling it to reach the destination at a much quicker rate.
Did you factor in the wind speed?
Parents are always bugging you to get out of the house and get some exercise. But you've got your own way of doing things. You're your own person. You don't need to follow the crowd or the rules. And the last people you want to be like are your parents.
Johnny, tell them what they want.
When you mentor a child, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. Do good. Mentor a child. Call 1-877-BE-A-MENTOR.
Stack of cards.
Hearing yes. Oh, please don't get him started. I just had him off having his ears pierced.
But that was
last year.
Great, I know. Thanks, Grandpa, Grandma.
Let's see it.
Oh, we're all anxious to see it. We're going across. That's like Dad's jewelry, whatever, store, a jewelry store.
Jewel.
Right there, that piece you threw. Right.
Thank you, Grandpa, Grandma.
Get the keys. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.